Hello, this is the second video on index numbers. Here we'll learn about weighted aggregate price index. So we learned from our previous video that index is a means of comparing changes in some variable over time. Index is more useful when there are many items involved. Let us look into these pictures here. I'm going to show you some items that people buy more often. Meat, bread, beans. Now, if we were to calculate the simple one item price index for meat, bread and beans for the given prices in 1995 and 1996, we can use the same approach as before and find out the index for the year 1996 by keeping the index value for 1995 as 100. If we do so, we will get the index for 1996 individually for meat, bread and beans. So we see that the index for meat has shown an increase and also by bread and beans. But what does it tell us about the cost of the food? Is the price increasing or decreasing? What is also important is people do not buy meat, bread or beans separately. They buy all the items and several other items in their basket. So people are interested to find out the changes in the price of the basket of the goods in two different time periods. So, how can we do this? If we just consider the prices, then perhaps we may say that we will find the total prices people pay in 1995 for meat, bread and beans, and total price the people pay for meat, bread and beans in 1996. If we do not consider the quantity that people are buying, and if we just talk in terms of the price, then we may say that we will find the total price for meat, bread and beans, so which means summation of the price in 1996, which will be Pn, and summation of the price in 1995, which will be P0, multiplied by 100. This will give us price index, but remember, this will be unweighted price index, because here we are not considering the quantities, the different quantities that people are buying in 1995 and 1996. So if we just find out the total prices for different items, it is going to be unweighted aggregate price. But our index should reflect, if meat is the dominant cost, then the aggregate index should reflect that. People are buying breads in huge quantities, so aggregate index should reflect this as well. Secondly, in this example, all items are measured in kilograms. This we did for simplicity. But there may be additional items in the basket, such as wines or milk, which people will buy in liters or in pints. Or you may hire a plumber whom you will pay on hourly basis, or you may buy carpet which you will pay per meter square. So in order to reflect the changes in prices for items that we buy in different quantities and which may again be measured in different units, total of the price index or aggregate index alone is not adequate. What we need to do is weight the items on the basis of the quantities that are purchased. If we do so, it is called weighted aggregate price index. So each item is weighted according to its importance. So weighted aggregate index means total price for the total quantities purchased. Or since price multiplied by quantity equals the cost of the item, the aggregate weighted index will be total cost at current prices divided by total cost at base year prices. But what quantities to use? Because it's a problem. For comparison, we need same quantities both in numerator and denominator. We don't have any choice but either to use base year quantities or current year quantities. If we use the base year quantities, it is called Laspeyres method. So Laspeyres price index uses the base year quantities. And the formula is therefore total cost of base year quantities at current price divided by total cost of base year quantities at base year prices. On the other hand, if we use the current weighting, it is called past days price index, which means total cost of current year quantities at current price divided by total cost at current year quantities at base year prices. And that's the formula to find Laspeyres index. So we can see that the elements, the principles of price relative, Pn divided by P0, is always there whether we use the Laspeyres method or the past days method. Pn divided by P0 is always there. So the only difference is while multiplying using the quantities, and if we are using the base year quantities both in numerator and denominator, it is base weighting called Laspeyres price index. And if we are using current year quantities in both denominator and numerator, it is called current weighting or past days index.